Hello and welcome to the 5-0 Podcast, your number one podcast for the Smash CPU Ultimate Draft League. I am MaxSchersey, and I am recording this intro on my own, and Mike will be recording the standings recap on his own this week, and then we will both be in the call together for viewer questions. This is basically because we had very limited time to record together on Sunday night when we usually do the pod, but either way, y'all are getting a full episode. It's just going to be chopped up. This week had a lot of hype with the beginning of divisional play and a lot of marquee sets getting streamed, but how did it shape up? Let's find out in your weekly match recap. Crack open a Rainier and eat some teriyaki because this week was the third annual battle for Seattle between Smet and Crimson, and this time Crimson works a 12, call that a 6-6 win. Meta Knight wins over Pichu and Stamina, and Crimson's Greninja continues to get it done in doubles, this time teaming with Byleth to win a pivotal 2-0 set over Pac-Man and Diddy Kong. Uh-oh, I Shitted wins a fake 7-6 over Adrian that almost wasn't fake. Captain Falcon stays disgusting in singles, and Renadlo was the hero in this one for and squads. Tribal K puts Weeb on 7-6, watching what might end up being the match of the year. Tribal goes down 2-1 in all three of the first sets, and then wins 2-0 in the last two, including a 100 aura clutch job by Marth in doubles. Theo beats Wave 6-5. Theo's D2D sets the tone with a 2-1 win over Schultz. Then Pikachu beats Cloud and Stamina. And Theo's Yoshi put on a clinic in doubles with Byleth over Wave's Byleth Sephiroth. Gold DXJ must be feeling lucky because he got the double 7 in his favor over Leo. Leo had a good start in this one with his puff over Gold's Lil Mac, but Gold got some key wins with Zelda over Steve in Final Smash and Pac-Man Steve over Pac-Man Dark Pit in doubles before winning squads. Leo falls to 2-4 now, and while time might be starting to run out for him, he still felt like a good team in many of his losses, including this one. Jaguar humbles Coach Jade 8-3. Jade's one set win here was Ryu over Yoshi in Final Smash, which, you know, that's funny. Yoshi, Final Smash, etc. But yeah, Jaguar's team is just loaded, man. Me Gunner remains undefeated on the year as he beats Olimar and Stamina. User wins a pivotal match of the 2-win teams against Ice 9-5. Despite the score, it's never an easy clean win for can you tell I'm recording this late? Win for User. But his Ganondorf and Wolf clutch up wins against Olimar in singles and Cloud and Stamina respectively. Ice, he's always a second half team, but he really needs a win next week to stay in contention, and he will be on the big stage facing me in the Boomer Bowl. Oh my gosh! First he takes down H-Kun's undefeated record, and now it's Koichi that gets slain 7-5. What's heartbreaking about this for Koichi is that she actually took 2 out of 3 sets against Omar's big 3 at the top, but it was Omar's doubles team of Samus and ZSS that picked up the slack this week against Dark Pit Palutena. Enormous win for Omar as he closes out his first half 4-2. Has Giraffe officially arrived on the scene? He takes it over H-Kun H-5 this week. I'll go with that. Piranha Plant beats Mega Man in singles in this one, and Joker Yoshi wins over Palu Marth in doubles. Corey 2016 beats Gemini 7-5. The decisive set in this one was Corey's Kirby over Gemini's Lucas in singles, and the rest is about what you'd expect. Corey closes out the first half, leading his division, and time marches on. Bling blows up Sickest out of nowhere, 8-2. What a weird match this was. Mario over Sonic in Final Smash, yup. Little Mac over Cloud and Stamina, yup. Doc and Ganon winning in doubles, yup. Because Bling just doesn't care. It's not about you. He just puts it all out on the table, and then sometimes he wins. That's analysis. Mid-season Tungi isn't ready to start losing yet as he beats Truckmud 6-4. His Game & Watch beats Truckmud's Ridley in that Clash of the Titans. And then Tungi's ZSS 2-0's Crom in Final Smash. Truckmud falls at 500 here. I think it would be foolish to count her out, but it's definitely time to start picking it up again with how she's cooled off after those first 2 weeks. Camazotz beats Dusty 8-4. I can't believe I'm saying this, but we just need to acknowledge that at this point, this is good team, bad team. Camazotz closes out the first half, leading the Waters division. Base takes a close one over Mr. Wiggles 8-6. Two random lineups, but both these guys are sneaky, sitting at 500 going into the second half. Vivtech smokes that KJ Pack with yet another blowout win, 8-2. Can anyone stop this guy? That is probably one of the bigger storylines in the league as we enter the second half. Septo beats Bren 9-3. That's pretty much expected. Akagi upsets Tep 7-4. Tep's Doc loses to Akagi's Lucas in singles, and his Duck Hunt loses to Akagi's Falco in stamina. Tep's differential is really ugly this season, but the pieces still all seem to be there for a repeat division win. He just has to get hot, but it's got to start happening soon. Squix beats Sunday 8-5. Good team, bad team. Squix's signature PT gets the job done in stamina. Parkour sneaks one out over Krillin 7-6. He wins the last 3 sets in this one, starting with Link and stamina being Villager. K-Rool and Brawler and doubles beat Luigi and Young Link as well. I pick up a win over Giu 8-5. The new team acquisition, Wii Fit Trainer, excellent posture by the way, wins 2-1 in singles over Greninja, and Punish Venom and Cineroar continues to pick up wins in Final Smash this year. It was a rough start, but just like in 2024, I closed out the first half at 500 and whatever, I guess that's fine. Mike cleans up against Corvette 8-4. Mike's Yoshi gets a 2-0 in singles because that's just what he does. Inkling over Pichu and stamina as well. Orchid works 12s against Aquavius with a 6-6 win. Terry is low-key looking like a threat again, as he tends to do every so often. Like, he's good, and then we forget about him, and then he's good again. Yeah, beats Palutena in singles in this one, and then there's a 2-1 in squads to close it out, the 6-6. And finally, we're wrapping up the recap with the Dead Teams Matchup Corner. Soul beats Ridley 7-5, and JNP beats B 6-6. And that's this week's matches in the Ultimate Draft League. Thank you for your patience. It's 12:27 as I'm ending this recording in the morning, obviously.
Great recap as always, Max. And as Max said earlier, I will be recording this divisional recap section on my own. I know this section, I'm recording this section way too late, honestly. Most of Week 7's matches have been played already by the time I'm recording this, but I'm still going to record this from the perspective of this being done right after Week 6. And with that being said, let's just get right into the divisional recap. Starting off with the Vent Division. It really just is Vtech's division to lose at this point. It's 2-game lead at the halfway point. Obviously, it's not guaranteed or anything, especially with Crimson making a splash now, actually overtaking H-Kun. But it really, really is Vtech's division to lose at this point. He is on pace. Again, I don't think he's going to keep this pace up, especially because the second half of the schedule is definitely harder than this first half. But he is on pace to break BP's record from 2020 of the best differential in a single season, which is, in the custom balance era, is crazy. I know 5 of the 6 teams he has played have been random lineups, but still, the fact that he's beating these random lineups as badly as he has been is still very impressive. And then, yeah, back to Crimson. Crimson finally gets a win over Smet in the battle for Seattle, and he's in prime position to make a return to the playoffs. And it is crazy to see H-Kun not be in second here. A lot of these divisional games, we knew they were going to be important here in the Vent Division, just overall, but they're going to be even more important than we thought, because it's not just Vtech and H-Kun running away with it right now. It's kind of just Vtech running away with it now. H-Kun's back into that big pack there. And speaking of the pack, Svet and Giraffe, they're both still very much in it right now. They're not really going to be in the divisional race, let's be real, but definitely in there for wild card spots. All right, then moving on to the Fish Division. How does Corey keep getting away with this, man? I don't get it, dude. Like, I imagine as divisional play starts here, like it starts up more, he's gonna pile up some more losses, but it's still insane. He's 4-2 for the second straight season. Absolutely nuts. And just, how is Soul third in the division right now? Like, not shouldn't be too surprised that we have a division that's like similar to the Car Bomb division last year in terms of records overall, but I definitely did not expect it to be this division, if I'm being completely honest. I don't know. And just just looking at this pack of 2 and 4 teams here, man. Like again, some of these teams, like especially Ice, just Soul, Gemini, just teams that like they're solid teams. To see them at 2 and 4 is just insane. Speaking of Ice, can he do it one more time as a crazy second half of the season run? This week in the Boomer Bowl, it's gonna have a lot of answers there. A lot of answers for if you'll actually be able to make this run or not. Then moving on to the Soup division. Koichi still retains her lead for now, but this division somehow became even more scary with Omar finally toppling her and taking out that unbeaten streak. Like, it's, like I said before in previous weeks, it feels like a pack of piranhas down there just chomping at, just waiting to chomp, waiting to prey on these teams ranked above them at the moment. And, yeah, like, it's something along the lines of what Soul said before. It's crazy how 6th place in this division right now would literally be in 3rd place, tied for 2nd, essentially, in the Fish division. This division is insane. It's on track to be the best record, I think, overall for a division ever by the end of the season. So, yeah, it's just wild here. Tribal does potentially save his season against Weeb through some of the most insane, but also some of the most hype plot armor we've ever seen in UDL. Honestly, like that was one of the craziest comebacks ever that we've ever had. And yeah, the rest of the matches between this current top 4 we have here are about to be insane. But also don't sleep on Base and Mr. Wiggles. I would not be surprised if they get at least one upset each on these top 4 here. Then moving on to the Baymax division. With one good week, Bling has already flipped the division on its head. Sickest still holds the lead, but now Bling is going to be right behind Sickest, it feels like, for most of the season. And it's become a lot more close out of nowhere, seemingly. Like, yeah, Sickest still in the driver's seat, but you're going to have to keep winning now because Bling has that head-to-head advantage. One slip-up, and that potentially could just give the division away. And Tep, he still is technically in 2nd in this division right now, but he needs to find some answers quickly. It's just looking rough. Like, that -11 differential is just, it's brutal. It is brutal. And getting upset by Akagi this week, a match that you should routinely win decently easily, it's just brutal if you want to contend for a division title here. Then moving on to the B conference playoff picture. It is still the same 9 teams that it has been every week we've been keeping track of the playoff race, but definitely a good amount of a shake-up in the wild card spots here. Each with HQ and Weeb losing this past week. They're still clinging on to the 8th and 9th spots, but it is looking rough. And the total order, Vitek, Koichi, Corey, and Sickest still leading the divisions. Corey and Sickest swapping places once again. Omar, Tribal, and Crimson 5 through 7, and like I said, HQ and Weeb 8 and 9. But yeah, just don't sleep on the teams that are right on the bubble, like on the outside looking in right now in this B conference, like Smet, Giraffe, and Tep. It's going to be an absolute bloodbath as we approach the second half of the season. All right, then moving on to the P conference with the True division. Jaguars picking up right back where he left off. Did not take that loss to heart. And he's in a really good spot now. Squix is 1 game behind him currently, but Squix also is a random lineup. You can never really be like, it's always like those random lineups are always feeling like just a bubble waiting to pop. At least if you see the ones with like a 4-2 record at this point and stuff like that around there. It's like, how long can you really sustain it for? So the fact that Squix is in 2nd right now, you gotta be feeling really good. And then Max, he's charging in with a full head of steam right now. He's won 2 in a row. A Boomer Bowl win would really establish his legitimacy as a playoff contender right now. He's tied with Jade for 3rd currently. Again, the Boomer Bowl, if he does end up losing this, it is a rivalry match, so it's the Boomer Bowl, so it's going to be high stakes, but also it does help that it is a non-conference match too. If you're going to drop one match here, this is the one to do it. But obviously, Max still wants to win the Boomer Bowl. Like, no duh. Everyone wants to win the rivalry matches. Then moving on to the Pain division. Gold just continuing to find ways to win right now. A second straight win with a differential 0. And yeah, he's holding on to the top spot in this division right now. Definitely looking to... Like, he's already tied... I'm pretty sure he's already tied the most wins he's ever gotten in a single season. He's definitely in prime position to make his first trip to the playoffs. Potentially saving their season just like Tribal with a clutch win over Adrian. It's going to be real interesting to see how both of these two will fare in the divisional race. They got some ground to make up on Gold at the moment. But obviously that head-to-head over Adrian is going to be huge going forward, I imagine. And yeah, it just really hurts to see Leo in last place here now, because the team definitely seems better on paper than a 2-4 record. It is just rough. Same with Orchid, honestly. It's just been brutal. Then moving on to the Franklin division. Parkour continuing to keep up at this moment is making this division race even closer than expected. Because again, heading into this division this year, it seemed like it was going to be a 3-way race between me, Wave, and Theo. And then maybe Krillin if he actually ends up putting lineups in, which obviously he hasn't. Which, again, his team is still better than a 1-5 record, but yeah, that's definitely why he's at the bottom of this division right now. But yeah, like I said with Squix earlier, how long will Parkour be able to keep it up for? He has had some very solid wins this year over Crimson and Ice, so we'll see how long he keeps that up. And yeah, there's some big matches in Week 7 for myself, Theo, and Wave. They obviously won't determine who wins the division, but it could be a very good opportunity for Theo and myself to take a nice lead, or for Wave to get right back into this division race. And then finally moving on to the Waters division. Camazotz and Tungi, they're still continuing to hold on. It's currently division run by random and static teams. It's just insane. Like, at this point in the season, if you had to tell me there was mainly a 2-team race for a race between 2 teams for winning this division, I would say neither of these guys. If I had to pick 2, I probably would have said Truckmon and Septo, the 2 and 3 and 2 teams in the 3rd and 4th positions currently. Maybe Bren as well. But yeah, I mean, speaking of Septo, he is starting to make a little push here, make a comeback. He definitely set himself up in a decent spot to potentially steal this division in the second half of the season. Will a varied lineup prevail here, or will the random or static teams win? We shall see. And the P Conference playoff picture, not too much shakeup at the top. Gold does take the spot back from Adrian, who that's probably the biggest development here once again. Adrian falls from 2nd to, not on this graphic anymore at the moment, at least 10th. Crazy shakeup. Just goes to show how close this conference is. Jaguar retaining his top spot. Yeah, like I said, Gold taking back the lead in the Pain division, going back up to 2nd. Camazotz 3rd, me in 4th. It's been the same for the past 3 weeks. Tungi in 5th. Having a 4-0 conference record is just very helpful. 6th. Squix in 7th. And then don't look now. Here comes the Franklin division at the bottom here. Theo and Parkour in 8th and 9th. Franklin division definitely showcasing more of its strength now. Definitely more than when we first started playoff picture updates when the division leader was 2-2. And so I think that is it for the standings recap for this week. Let's move on to the viewer questions. All right, I don't really have a segue for this part because the recording for the 5-0 a bit scuffed this week. But the first segment we're recording at the usual time at night is the viewer questions. So I think let's just get right into it.
Yes.
All right, we got 4 questions this week. We got 4. First viewer question is from Soul. Soul asks, and using the words he specifically used, like his specific, that's a word. His specific lexicon. What teams are currently the most fudged in terms of bench management, would you say?
Oh, I haven't even thought about this.
And he mainly put a emphasis on on the static lineups, which that does make the most sense considering that they're the ones
Yeah.
who need to bench a new character every week now. Um, but yeah, I would say the team in the most trouble. I It might be Smet low key because I
Yeah,
think
I was just looking at that.
he's the only one with filler. I think, to my knowledge. Then again, as we saw in the battle for Seattle this week, he did lose, but he 2-0'd with filler in squads. So maybe it's not a huge issue. It did seem like he is going to be manually putting in lineups just to be dealing with that filler. We shall see. I don't know.
So this isn't a perfect rule, but I'm just scanning to see how much white is still at the top
Yeah,
versus how much gray is at the bottom.
that's fair.
Smet stands out immediately, of course. Jade, first 5 rounds have not been benched yet. Uh,
Jade's not static though, so but yeah, I see what you're saying. That can be a bit
but
rough.
yeah, uh, Gold, Ness, Steve, Lil Mag, Mewtwo, Pac-Man Hero, all have not been
Oh,
benched yet. So
actually, in terms for
he has a decent lead, but yep.
in terms for Jade though, uh, I think 3 of those characters in those top 5 for Jade, top 5 rounds, are actually their usual squads lineup. With Mewtwo, Robin, and Ices, I think are usually in squads for them. So actually, they have been benching a good amount of their like first 4 event characters.
Okay.
Gold, yeah, Gold has been like mostly static though.
Oh, look at Truck Mud, Mike. Holy.
Ooh, my gosh. That's not good.
Look at Crimson. Anyways,
Anyways, yeah.
those are my
I
answers. Oh my gosh, as well. Holy
uh,
cow. Well, Hero got benched, I guess, but like, I don't know.
yeah, for Omar, this is when I really wish I'd organized this roster thing a bit better. Who was it on the bench for ZSS comes in to replace people for Omar?
Yeah.
Honestly, that's not that bad because well, I mean, you already had the week where ZSS came in to
ZSS
replace
plays Hero. That already
yeah, in
happened, yeah.
FS. But still, it's like we saw that ZSS this past week that ZSS actually can work out in doubles like okay, not great, but like is a usable character there. So I don't know. I feel like the only weeks you're really gonna be screwed are when ZSS goes in the singles and stamina there. All right, but next question, uh, from Leo. Just by the I'm just gonna be real. Just by the way he wrote this, I can tell there was a bit of salt, bit of anger with this one. Uh,
Uh-oh.
and reading off his words in word for word. Do you think this big increase in parity, where basically every set is a toss-up, is good for the league?
You know what's funny? That was my question last year. But this year, is that true? I would have to do
I
the numbers on that. I feel like there's way more blowouts this year compared to last year.
I would have to look it up too. Well, I mean, the year with the best parity in general was 2023, because literally every I've definitely said this before at some point, but I'll just reiterate it. Literally every team got at least 3 wins that year, and all teams but one got at least 4 wins. Like that was like the best parity we have ever had, and only one double-digit win team in the regular season. Which, granted, I think we had that last year too, but it doesn't feel like it doesn't really feel like every set is a toss-up. I think the salary cap is definitely the way to go for the league for sure. I feel like that's like the kind of the natural progression of where we've gone with things, and it is. I think the biggest thing in terms of parity, I feel like that has definitely improved this season, is that random teams are so much scarier now because you can't just better character them. Like you can't just say, "Oh yeah, my team's worth $12 more than theirs." By the way, haha. Let's
Yeah, maybe that's what he's talking about. Like random teams are. they're worse because the filler can like go into
Hmm.
singles and shit like
Yeah.
that. But like yeah, like you're saying, you can't better team them that way. I guess what I was saying at first is I think like person who's putting in lineups versus person who's putting in lineups, it's like I felt like it was literally 5 50 matchups every time last year. And that's not the case this year because someone has to not be a top tier on your
Hmm.
team. Like you need someone that's a
It's
little weaker,
it's
you know?
bringing back. Well, it's like it's not obviously as extreme as it, but it's similar to the Ken Masters strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
also.
get what he's saying though about like the random teams not being able to just like own them by default, I guess.
And I
I don't know what you would do about that. I feel like random teams are already kind of bad, but
yeah,
like I don't know.
I
I'm
do
not
think.
opposed to nerfing them more. I think random teams should be good.
Mhm.
Like I'm okay
Oh
with
yeah,
having them all be last place.
yeah. I do think I do think better like higher parity is good for the league though. I could see why like it would be like because why like having more parity. I'm gonna say wouldn't be good, but like from the perspective of saying like it's like a kind of more of a skill expression with putting the CPUs like knowing where to put each CPU and stuff like that. Like you want to have a higher separation of the good teams and the bad teams, but still, I think you're still getting a pretty good separation of that this year. Like there are some teams that are very clearly just bad this year, like Soul, not Soul. I don't know why I said Soul. I am so sorry, Soul. Your team's actually decent.
Yeah, yeah, a lot better now.
I was reading off the list of I was reading off the list of viewer questions. I'm so sorry, Soul. I know for a fact he's going to have a spoiler message saying, "I cannot believe Mike just said that." uh, I meant to say Ridley because Soul also played Ridley this past week.
Yeah,
Like Ridley, Bren's teams, like
Bren.
they're
Yeah,
Sunday, they're just not good. And then you also have teams like VTech, who literally has 32 differential at the halfway point of the season, by the way, plus 32, or like Jaguar, like
there's a
Huishi.
clear top tier emerging in ways that like I feel once again I would have to check this, but I feel like we didn't have such a clear like small group of top tier teams at the
The
halfway point
well,
before.
last year we had I think both Tep and Truckmud made it to 6-0, but they weren't like super dominant.
They weren't, yeah, right.
Truckmud actually, at least the first few weeks, Truckmud was pretty dominant. I
Not
recall,
like a billion
but
differential.
yeah,
Truck Mud was pretty good at the halfway point. I do remember that now.
yeah, but yeah, I think the league's in a very good place in terms of parity. All right. Next question is from Crimson. Considering how this past main card was one of if not the best we've ever had, which overall match and which specific set within a match got you the most hype from this past main card?
That tribal double set for
Yeah,
sure.
that was that like the overall match. Yeah, for sure is definitely tribal. Like that in, insane plot armor, honestly, on Tribal's end, but was it super hype? Yes. That was a crazy comeback. That's honestly probably the best comeback we've ever had at UDL. Honestly, also the second true 7-6 of the year. Both which
That to me is up with I forget what year, but it was like the uh like Ice was down whatever like 5-0 against Jaguar and won that set or whatever the fuck that was that one
I
year.
think it was the other way around.
Okay, yeah.
Jaguar reversed 3-0'd Ice in events twice in 2023. Once in the week 12
That
to
is
win the,
insane.
I know. Once in week 12 to win the division, and then once in the semifinals to go to the finals. Yeah, that was crazy. Uh, I think it was Ice against BP was like the huge comeback. I might be wrong though. I remember there was like one where like someone was down like 5-0, and then they ended up bringing it back. I'd have to look more
Right.
into it. Uh, individual set that got me the most hype. You can kind of hear it when I was on commentary. Honestly, uh, Wave versus Theo, Yoshi just going absolutely insane in doubles. Am I biased because I just love Yoshi? Yeah, but like it was pretty fitting because we were talking so much crap about Yoshi, then like literally mid conversation, he literally
Yeah, he
just gets
popped
like
the fuck
three
off.
kills in like 15 seconds. It's like what is happening? Yeah, overall, this past main card was just insane, honestly. Jeez Louise. That one's definitely going to be a one we look back on, just in general. Week 6 back-to-back years, just absolute bangers.
Amazing. Yep. So smart to stack rivalries in week 6 and start division play week 6, 7.
Yippee! All right. And then last viewer question from Vivtek. In his words, why do you think people are so scared to pick up Me Gunner and Pac-Man? I don't think this is a character specific thing. I think it's more of a budget thing.
I think people just don't have money. Like it's obligatory. Like you can just drop someone and then run a filler and then wait a week and then like make a swap but it's like it takes like 3 weeks to do the whole thing because you drop someone, then you have a filler.
Yeah.
Then you have to probably drop someone else because you're not dropping a 6, and then like clear up the cap and drop them, pick up a 6 in the same week. And then your third one is you have to pick up someone else so you're not running a filler out there. Which, like, is that a good play? Arguably, yes, for a lot of teams, in my opinion. But, like, I understand why you wouldn't want to commit to that, like, 3 weeks. Because once you start doing that, like, you have to commit all the way and, like, hope you don't get sniped.
Yeah. I mean, I can see some teams, like, trading in their 6 for, like, one of these two. I mean, with Pac-Man at least, Pac-Man's still very clearly good. I'm not trying to downplay the character at all, but like he definitely isn't as invincible in doubles as we once thought. Like he's still very clearly good, like a top 5 character at worst. But like we were in like contention of potentially nerfing him. But like he's
I think if you're trying to run out Pac-Man with just like who the fuck ever in doubles, that's a waste of your $6 in my opinion. Like you have to stack doubles or you're wasting your time.
Yeah,
maybe
maybe
with Pac you need another top tier.
Well, maybe not doing the Adrian strat of putting $12 in doubles, but yeah, like a reasonably good doubles character. Yeah. But for me Gunner, I mean, Jaguar has had the only me Gunner, and me Gunner has
undefeated. He said,
I think so. Yeah. So. Yeah, that one I could definitely see more people picking up me Gunner potentially. I mean, like, there honestly is an argument they actually low key might be better than Aegis and Stamina.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm pretty curious about Gunner and Stamina. Last year, I thought Gunner honestly was not that amazing in the Pikachu Olimar meta, but now I don't know. I guess I don't know. Haven't seen enough of Gunner, but a lot of the people we're saying are Stamina top tiers right now are like kind of looking a little fraudulent in my opinion. So maybe Gunner's the one that's not fraudulent, and we just don't realize it right now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like you said with the Stamina top tiers, yeah. I mean, Cloud. Oh, jeez. That man, that he definitely has gotten some good wins this season, but definitely looking like an off-season champion right now. Oh man, I did not think it was gonna be him honestly, but hey. All right. Yeah, again, very weird how this is the only segment we've recorded so far at this point, but I think that is time to technically wrap it up. uh, week 7, rivalry week, very stacked week. Again, maybe not the same level of depth that week 6 had, but like arguably even more stacked at like the top level of matches. I've already said I think what the main card's going to be. We got my fellow co-host Max taking on Ice in the Boomer Bowl. That's going to be the main event.
That's right.
We got Koichi Theo. We got Vivtek Jaguar, the 2 number 1s in each conference going at it. We got Omar Gosh versus Kamazats. Because, of course, everyone predicted it was going to be a 4-2 versus 4-2 battle there. HQ underrated rivalry from last year. We got some banger matchups coming up this week. I am very excited. Any closing words, Max?
Yes. I love closing out the 5-0 podcast. Thank you, everyone. And yeah, have a good evening, rest of your day.
We'll see you guys soon.